You can take pictures of my bald head. I'm gonna take pictures of your bald head. Hi, it's Danny. Welcome to my dark desk. Take a sippy, puffy, because we're gonna come together and talk about 90 Day Fiance. And the couple we're gonna talk about is Ashia and Maxwell. Ashia is 38 from Alabaster, not California. Doesn't Alabaster, California sound better than Alabaster, Alabama? So Ashia is 38, Alabaster, Alabama, and Maxwell, 28, Aqua, Nigeria. We got another Nigeria, baby. Well, let's go through the canon of Nigerians. We have Daniel Eno Cuckoo Bird from Pennsylvania. I forget her name. We have Angela and Michael. We have Usman. We have Usman and baby girl Lisa and Kimberly. Yeah, we have a bunch of Nigerians. So Nigerian men in this show is like Filipinas. Canon baby. So I can't wait for this. This is gonna be a fun mess. And from the previews for episode 7, it's gonna be a good fucking time. Let me preface this by saying I have religious trauma. I was raised Catholic. So I am not going to be too friendly about religion because I'm not. I have faith. I believe in God, but religion is a completely different story for me. So I am not going to be nice about this religion. So she's Pentecostal, and it's not Pentecostal in and of itself. It's the kinds of religion that exact and control people. You know what? Anyhow, let me start over again. So we open with Ashia speaking about her faith. She is Pentecostal, and we get clips of her speaking in tongues. It's interesting. I'm trying not to judge because I know your faith, your religion is your business. That's a constitutional right. But like, my goodness, it was alarming. Anyhow, so she very, very Pentecostal. That is the foundation of her life and her personality. And she says that she says they get down in her church. They believe in miracles and the entire Bible. Very interesting. So she had a vision, or God spoke to her when she was in a store someplace about the next song that was going to play on the radio. And she guessed it was going to be an NSYNC song. And of course it was going to be an NSYNC song if you were listening to the radio in 2001. From like 98 to like 2003, NSYNC was popular. I mean, you could have guessed Britney Spears and would have been right. Anyhow, so speaking in tongues is like heavenly to them, and it's a heavenly language that the devil doesn't understand. So she said that she's been waiting for her husband since she was 16, and we see a clip of her testifying to her church about how she's blessed to have met her fiance Maxwell. So she talks about how she met Maxwell. She was like, in December 2023, she saw signs that her husband was on the way. And then in February 2024, God told her to get ready. And she's like, hey God, what's going on? So by March, God told her to broaden her search. And she saw a whole bunch of signs, get ready for her husband. And she went in her search and found him in Nigeria. And his name is Maxwell. He's a cutie, but he looks young. He looks like a baby. And to be fair, Ashia doesn't look aged per se. I don't know. I guess she feels older than what she is. She feels older, but she doesn't look it. And so when you put her next to Maxwell, it looks very May December in a very awkward way. So she says that when she's talking about the things she loves about him, he's the male version of her. They both love business. They both are in the hustle culture. They're both family oriented. And while she still continues to think men from Nigeria are scammers, which isn't fair, I imagine the stereotype comes from some truth. It's really crooked that her fiance comes from that country and she's still talking shit. So when she went to meet Maxwell for the first time, she brought her best friend on the trip, and Maxwell brought his friend to hang out with her best friend, and they all ended up being booed up. Maxwell's friend proposed to her friend, and Maxwell ended up proposing to Ashia. That's pretty interesting. And you also see that the best friend, who was her best friend, I'm not sure if they're still best friends because she doesn't really talk about her in the present sense, and she clearly didn't sign the release to be on the show because her face is blurred out. His friend is not blurred out, her face is. Anyhow, Maxwell and his best friend have the interview in the same day, and they both go together. He obtained the visa during the embassy interview, but his friend went after him, and after the friend showed a picture of all 4 of them together, the embassy came back and reclaimed the visa that they approved him for. Now, I know you can't really do that in the United States. You really can't. I don't think you can. I mean, maybe now you can. I don't know. But like, can they do that in Nigeria? Do they do that? That's crazy. Because what he could have done is run the fuck on. He could have just boop, 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 just dipped. If he wasn't with his friend, he could have just dipped with that visa, because he took a picture, sent it to her, and then he's like, oh, like a half an hour later, he's like, oh, it was taken away. That's crazy. Anyhow, he is pushing for the spousal visa that, I have to say, at the moment, it felt pretty scammy, but we see her talking to her mom about the process, and she and her godbrother go to see a lawyer about what options do they have. Bear in mind, the godbrother, what's his name? Rod. He was making fun of her low-key. So they ran out of men in the United States. She's like, no, but they don't have this man. And he's like, you know, they got Nigerians in America too, right? And she's like, not like him. And so he's kind of like, he's kind of poking her like a brother would. Rod thinks it's a marketing scheme. Jeremy, the lawyer, gave a couple of options. The K1 visa is supposed to take 1.5 years. The CR1 visa takes 2 to 3 years. I didn't know the marriage visa would take longer. You think if people are married, they would see that, they would take that more seriously instead of a fiance visa, but I digress. Anyhow, there's no guarantee that any of these processes will be approved, because if they find any fraud, they could just deny it and they're back to square one again. So it really does suck. The next episode, they go, oh, girl goes to see some geese. They're in a park. She meets her prophet friend, and the prophet friend and her pray and do the power of the tongues, and the prophet friend and her scare the geese, and the prophet says you have to go to Nigeria. So the next scene, packing up to go to Nigeria to see Maxwell. She's taking her old ass mom on this flight to Nigeria, and I guess if they do decide to get married while she's there, because she probably can't afford to go back again, it's better to have her mom meet Maxwell and be there for the marriage ceremony. That's what I think is happening, that she wants her mom there presently when she gets married to Maxwell, if that's what they decide to do. But like, I feel bad that this old lady is flying across the world just to support her fool la la daughter. But anyhow, and then she kept saying how her mom gets on her nerves. I'm like, bitch, your mother, I keep saying grandmother because she looks like a little old lady. Your mother is going all this way for your dumbass, and you're just not. She's so ungrateful. She's so entitled. Also, while she's packing, we found out she thinks she's building a man, like she's building a bear. She wants him to go to the gym. She wants him to do hair oil treatments. She wants him to fix his acne, all the things. This heifer is... Fast forward, we meet Maxwell, and he talks about how Ashia is pushy and that he has caught her taking pictures of his hairline when he's falling asleep. And you know what I would do if I was Maxwell? I would grab that bonnet. Like when she goes to sleep, I would just tug that bonnet and take pictures of her bald ass head without that wig, so that now we both have pictures. How about that? Now she may have a whole head of hair, don't matter. I will yank that wig off and take pictures, because you should not be fool and taking pictures of my bald spot. So he says it's taxing to deal with her because she wants him to be a certain way. She wants him to go to the gym. She wants him to do all that, and it's aggravating. Anyhow, we meet his family. His dad is Clement, and his mom is Maria. I thought his mom was his sister. She looks so freaking young. My God. Ooh, and they're in the sun all day and they look like that. My goodness, I need to drink more water. Anyhow, he seems really sweet. He's very cute because he's so anxious about getting himself together, and he was worried that she was going to leave him, and he even purrs at one point. I'm like, oh, I love a purr. Yeah, he seems like an anxious person in general, and I feel bad. I feel bad for him being yoked up with this heifer. I feel like people are punching bags to her, and because she's so miserable and has such, I feel like she has a lot of self-hate, and instead of her reflecting on the things she doesn't like about herself and changing it, she puts it on other people, and that makes me feel bad for Maxwell, because he seems like generally he's already an anxious person, and she's going to drive his anxiety even more. When she hugs him at the airport, she whispers, "I want to eat you." Ick. But also, aren't you Christian, girl? Are y'all allowed to eat people like that? Not very Christian. Anyhow, he says he looks healthy and that he looks good, and she's like, who's telling you look good? Who told you look good? Look, acting all jealous, bitch, calm down. He's telling himself that. He could boost himself up. It's called self-esteem. I don't really like her. The last scene is pretty much them in the airport and her talking about the results they want to see on him. It's weird. She really thinks she's gonna build a man. Like, she does not accept him for who he is at the fuck all. And she's being wildly inappropriate with how she talks about him. And we see in the next episode, his mom is going to say, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable how she's talking about him, because she's pretty much being completely controlling and domineering. She's taking advantage of the fact that she's older than him. She's quote unquote maybe more established than him, though to be fair, his family's house was really nice. They had the nicest accommodations I've seen from people who live in Nigeria. Another couple from Nigeria, the chicken lady family, and I forgot his name. That was wild. That was another Nigeria situation. Anyhow, that is where they ended off. They kind of ended off really bizarre because they're just at the airport, and I guess the next scene we'll see the family. Both families will come together, which will be very, very interesting. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do as you deem fit. Keep your sips, keep your puffs close, but your instincts closer, and I'll be sure to catch you on the flips. Bye. Wait, wasn't that a Madonna song? I'm out of time and I was gone 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Hey, who's excited for Madonna Confessions of the Dance Floor 2 coming out? What? It's gonna be a time.